Hey guys, welcome back to Community Starcraft 2. I am your host and caster and butler for this series, which is going to be oGs'MC versus EG'PuMa from Orlando, or rather MLG Orlando 2011. So if you're watching this video about 10 years in the future, you're going to say, they still had MLG, huh? And Orlando was still a city, huh? But yeah, so this is going to be a Protoss versus Terran. MC's our red Protoss spawning on the left side here of Antigua Shipyards. His opponent is Evil Genius's Puma, who is their only Korean member. So Evil Genius is definitely growing up in the world of StarCraft, and one of the front runners of signing a Korean player before any other foreign team had, or at least major signing. I think there might have been one other, but I don't think it was from a huge team or a huge player. But nevertheless, let's see what's going on in this game. Now, as a precursor to this is from, again, MLG Orlando. This was the losers bracket semifinals, I'm pretty sure, and I'm also pretty sure that whoever won this was going to go on to fight Idra in the winners bracket, or excuse me, losers bracket finals. So this is really deep into the tournament. These are huge games, but these weren't broadcasted on stream. They were only showing one game at a time, so they were showing the Idra games, and they were going on concurrently. And I saw the very, very end of the last game in this series, and it was interesting. But look at this, MC. He's gonna go Nexus first against Terran, and on this huge map. And Puma is also going Command Center first. So it looks like we're in store for a really long macro game. And plop, there goes the Nexus. Yep. MC goes ahead and drops it. And of course, mines the minerals before he goes back, making sure his probe is still working. But yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this, because he and Puma have quite a history with each other. Namely, meeting in the finals of IEM. Was it Cologne? They fought in the finals there, and they also fought in the finals of NASL. So these two guys definitely have big tournament moments, and Puma has won the previous two meetings between these two. So MC definitely out for revenge. And the other notable thing is that MC has to win this, and then he has to win another set against a player named the STC in order to get his Code S spot back. So there's a ton riding on this match, actually. And I know this all has resumed by now, but if you didn't get a chance to watch this or whatever, I'm just trying to set the stage for what was actually at stake during this. So if this is all news to you, then this will be a lot more exciting series. But yeah, both these players getting their expansions up right away. And I'm curious what each player knows. I'm pretty sure MC knows everything, and Puma knows nothing. So Puma being extremely greedy, not even scouting. This is his first scout coming out at 21 supply. And it's going in the correct direction right off the bat. I think this may have been a map where you can only spawn cross positions based upon MLG's rules, and I really love the way that MLG sets up their maps and their tournaments and stuff like that. So nice micro of that Zealot, trying to get as much damage on this SCV as possible. But the SCV walks in, he's going to see everything, and he's going to notice that the core just finished, at least if he saw that, and that the Nexus already has quite a bit of mining. So he's going to be like, wow, that was an extremely fast Nexus. Because typically, even if you go one gate expand, your Nexus won't be done until about 6:10. So this is really early. So both of them kind of mirroring each other in terms of their early game strategy. Puma throwing down a couple of extra barracks, and yes, he will not be 1-1-1ing this game, which he has done a lot. Look at MC, one gateway, Twilight Council. So this is very, very risky. At least it would be risky if he didn't know what Puma was doing. He knows Puma has expanded, and he knows he went Command Center first. So MC had the benefit of scouting, and he now has the benefit of being really greedy in his opening. So he can just chrono out probes, he can get his tech up as much as he wants, and you can see him spending chrono boost to get these probes out. And he's already on 36 probes, and it's 6:20 into the game. Again, on a one gate expand, if you were to run that, which is the most standard thing, and there's a Dark Shrine, and my computer is, again, having a really hard time for some reason. But if you're on a standard one gate expand, by now you'd probably have about 25 workers, not 36. So you can see how much of a difference going Nexus first is. And look at that scan. The scan sees the Dark Shrine, so the cat's out of the bag. You'll probably see Puma start an engineering bay, and he's actually starting 2 to get double upgrades as soon as possible. He should start a missile turret or a bunch at least as soon as this finishes. If MC, yeah, I was just going to say, if MC cancels that, that'll be the right play. And he does go ahead and cancel that Dark Shrine. So he's now left Puma vulnerable, but I'm actually curious now if Puma is smart enough to think, well, if I scan that and he knows, he'll probably just cancel it anyway. So he's only going 1 turret, and he may want to pay special attention to pooling some scans here at his bases, but yeah, based on his reaction, which is exactly what I thought, and what you should do is thinking, I just scanned him, he's very likely just going to switch out of it. That's exactly what happened, and you can save money by just not placing those turrets if you don't need to. So it's kind of a risk, but at the same time, knowing the way that pro players play, it's actually kind of not. So this is really high-level stuff coming down here. Or rather, MC just has 1 Stalker sitting out here in the middle of the map. As soon as any Marauders walk out here, that Stalker's dead. What you want to do typically, and something I don't see a lot of Protoss players do enough, is use your first robo to put out like 3 observers, and just put an observer like right here, maybe put an observer around a common walking point or a common drop point, and then keep a 3rd observer with your army, just in case you need to lead with it for spotting against ghosts or something. I think Protosses right now are a little too conservative on the observation, but knowledge is power. And yes, I just quoted an after-school special, but it's true. So don't be afraid to put out a lot of observers. And people are actually making a big deal when Koreans were making 2 observers out of the robo. And look at this. This is exactly what MC is doing. He's going 3 observers. There's his 3rd right now. So I am very pleased with what I'm seeing so far. I'm very glad I chose to cast this. Look at this. Puma actually sees this observer. This observer is probably just going to die as soon as he scans. And if he actually has scan energy, he does. So he does let the observer actually get away. But once you get the scouting information, it's best just to sit it somewhere idle so that they're not going to know it's there unless they have like eagle eye vision and can see everything. But MC is now taking his 3rd, and Puma is also going for an armory to get his fast 2-2. It's a little bit behind based on when his first +1/+1 is going to finish. And no, we're not playing Magic here, but yeah, you typically want to start your +2/+2 as soon as possible, and the army does finish up so he can start that right away. He's also finally grabbing stim, quite a late stim, also marine shields, and he's also taking a 3rd command center. So both these guys are in it for the long haul. They want a big macro game. They want to kind of flex their muscles and see where they can go. MC now going Templar Archives in addition to Immortals. I love this composition, especially if you can get upgrades behind it, because once those Immortals get upgraded, my god, Marauders die fast. Especially with storm damage, and especially if they're not firing back and trying to dodge storms. So here comes the storm down now, charges on the way, 2 more gates here at the natural expansion, and this is something that you also want to pay attention to, is how many gateways you can support. That's 8 gates on 2 bases. If you're running Zealot Archon or Zealot Templar, which in this case MC definitely will, you can afford a lot more gateways than you'd actually think because of how long the cooldown is. And Puma responding properly with the Ghost Academy. Not actually sure what knowledge he has, or at least in terms of buildings. He knows that at least the Twilight Council is up, so Templar are a very likely transition. A little bit of a fight here in the middle of the map as MC's Stalker's getting a little bit greedy here, trying to pick off whatever they can. He and Huck are very, very risky with Stalkers like that. Do these Templars actually have Storm? No. So here comes the fight in the middle of the map. I think MC's just going to use these for feedbacks right now. He started Storm, and it looks like he canceled it, so I don't know what the meaning was behind that. Maybe his Templar Archives got sniped or something? I don't think so, but that would not surprise me with Puma's play. Yeah, so it looks like MC just pushes Puma back into his base. He brought this Templar maybe just to make Puma think that he had Storm ready when he actually didn't. And you can't really afford to engage that straight up if you're Terran, because 1-1 Zealots with Storm behind it at this time in the game when you only have a few medevacs and are fairly marine heavy, without Ghosts, you're just going to get wasted. So here's another engagement. Ghosts are not quite EMP ready. Okay force fields, but all the Zealots are in the back of MC's army, a mistake he makes quite often. But Storm is now not done, and it won't be done for a while, so MC needs to lay down some defensive force fields and just get out of there. But no, Puma is just going to keep pressing the issue. MC is going to lose a lot right here because of how outmatched his army is. He's going to go ahead and retreat with this Templar and try to just land some defensive storms. But Puma is just ripping everything up in the middle of the map. So MC losing a lot there. That's why you can't get aggressive until Storm is done. So Puma is going to be pressing up here, and he's going to see that Templar and try to snipe it, but there's going to be a nice Storm laid down on top of there, and the Zealots are going to waste these Marauders if they continue to engage, but no. They just go ahead and fall back. 2 Archons morphing. They might not be done in time. Puma knows exactly what's going on, so MC is just relying on Puma's lack of ready EMPs. And again, if Puma fights right here, he's going to lose a lot just because his army's so segmented. MC does have a proxy pylon and can still see everything that's going on with these fantastic observer placements. I just love that. I was talking about that just a second ago, saying I don't see anybody doing it, and MC's doing that exact thing. So here comes the attack, and these ghosts are not EMP ready once again. He's just going to lose them. Kind of sloppy ghost control there, but MC just doesn't have enough stuff. He can't keep engaging right now. He needs to wait for at least one more warp in, and now he's going to go after he gets a Storm ready. And a lot of those Marines are pretty damaged, but the medevac energy is also kind of low, so this is just a simple game of chicken as far as how long Puma is willing to stay in here. MC finally engages, feedbacks all over the medevacs so they can't heal. This is going to be a win for Puma, at least in terms of the overall army value, but MC is still getting okay trades, pushing his Archon up there with his Zealots. Man, MC is so good. Just tiny little things like that are what make players great, but this is boiling down to just a few Marauders left and streaming reinforcements, so fairly close fight still. MC needs a Storm or 2 to push this off right now, and he just doesn't have it because his gateways are all on cooldown. More Zealots charging up here, taking out Marines. Man, Marines die so fast to these upgraded Zealots. Puma's 3-3 is going to finish here pretty soon, and Puma is still putting on a lot of pressure. Another warp in from MC. As we can see, it looks like a bad rally on these barracks. A few Stalkers are being put in here as well, so they can hopefully start sniping medevacs, but I just don't know if MC is ever going to come up with enough stuff to finally push this off, because Puma's reinforcing just as fast as MC is. Archons are now coming up after they fed back a couple of medevacs that basically had no energy anyway. But this may be enough to finally end this, and we'll actually see what's going on. The medevac's blocking everything, and no, man, Puma's army just does not die. He finally gets an Immortal out, which is really going to help against these Marauders. So it may just be too little too late, though. 2 more Archons are morphing, trying to kill these Marines once it comes out. Probes are being pulled to try and buffer just a little bit of damage and put an end to this. So this is just like the never-ending battle. And I hope Lionel Hutz doesn't sue me for fraudulent advertising. This Nexus is going down, and I think MC is just running out of steam. Puma's army is just too good. It's now at 3-3, or at least it will be here in about another 20 seconds. More Templar being warped in here, and MC is just being pushed further and further and further back. At this point, Puma could just load up everything and start fighting here in the main, making MC have to fight at awkward points and not have high ground vision or anything, but we'll see what Puma decides to do. No, he's just going to go straight in and try to fight. He does stim up a few units here trying to kill a Templar, and he's going to get it for no loss, but oh, MC actually transforms it into an Archon at the very last second. But that's actually really good for Puma because then it can't Storm. 3-3 Marines and Marauders fighting 2-2 Protoss units. Again, this is just coming down to how long is it going to take for MC to finally push this off, if ever, because there's so many medevacs out. 10 medevacs are out right now, and MC is just kind of running out of stuff. The forces are kind of dwindling just a little bit for Puma, but look at the mini-map here. Everything's just streaming across. And in the meantime, Puma's also taking his gold if you look at the mini-map once again. So there's really no way Puma can lose this first game right now. The Zealots are just getting slaughtered. MC says good game, and that's it. So Puma takes a 1-0 lead after like a 6-minute battle here. Just the battle that would not stop. And yeah, you can see that if you're Protoss, the problem with Templar specifically is that they need to be able to remove units per storm. And if you either can't get those storms off, or if they don't remove units and there's a lot of medevacs out like there are right now, I mean, 10 medevacs, that's a ton. He could heal through basically anything. And your storm uses are basically one-time uses, whereas if you had Colossus on the field, they fire several times before they either die or kill the units they're firing at. So it's a lot more of a, drawn-out way to fight your opponent. So yeah, anyway, let's just go right into Game 2 here. And again, this is a best-of-3 from MLG Orlando. So we'll see who comes out on top here in this very important and storied series between these two. We'll go straight into that if you want to join me for the next game.